Obviously, Senator Perdue again is lying about my record because he doesn't have one of his own.
You said, oh, listen, we've always had voter fraud in our elections. That's totally unacceptable, Governor, and you won't own up to it.
Lord of mercy, there's a lot of spaghetti being thrown on the wall. Again, you're completely false.
Another fiery debate for the race for governor is now in the books. Tonight, Governor Brian Kemp and David Perdue squared off again in the fight for the Republican primary. From unfounded election fraud to Atlanta crime, the candidates, they touched on a lot.
Yeah, and the candidates also told us what they would do to address what's on all of our minds, record high inflation in the metro.
What David Perdue's not telling you is how he's going to pay for $14 billion worth of cuts, half of our state budget. Is he going to raise tax on groceries? He going to make you start paying taxes when you go get a haircut or any other services? Is he going to do a state property tax increase? Just show us the plan.
Let's take this for example. He's taking credit for what Donald Trump and I actually created, and that's this economic boom that he's taking advantage of right now. Regulation, energy, taxes, Dodd-Frank created the best economic turnaround in U.S. history, and he wants to take credit for that here in Georgia? Give me a break.
Also during the debate, former Senator Perdue was asked about why he feels the 2020 election was rigged without any evidence.
Perdue alleges Georgia has always seen voter fraud, and Kemp hasn't done anything about it.
I just cited a court case in Fulton County where the evidence is compelling. The judge even ruled to unseal the ballots. And this is what he saw. He saw fraudulent ballots. He saw redundant ballots. He saw signature verification that didn't match.
What I did when I was frustrated about the election, I did something about it. Working with the Georgia General Assembly to pass the Elections Integrity Act, strongest in the country, that eliminates the signature match process and implements voter ID, which all Georgians support.
CBS 46 anchor Rick Volbaum was one of the panelists tonight. He's live in Savannah with a recap of what unfolded. Rick, good evening.
Good evening, Sean. Well, former President Donald Trump is not on the Georgia ballot, but he might as well be. If you listened to tonight's debate, you probably thought that he was. There was a lot of talk about the 2020 election. And so I got to ask Governor Kemp, I asked if he had any regrets on decisions that he made post-2020.
Well, certainly have no regrets, nor will I ever, for following the laws and the Constitution of this state. I swore to protect and defend the laws of this state and the Constitution of this state and the Constitution of the United States. And that's exactly what I've done, and that's what I'll continue to do. When we didn't win, I was as frustrated as anyone else. And we passed the strongest Election Integrity Act in the country. But you know, when I was Secretary of State, I worked hard for secure elections.
The truth is, he violated his oath of office by not calling a special session when he saw the consent decree going down. He had the right to call a special session to stop that. He can talk all day long. He obliged or operated by the Constitution and all that.
That is your
it's
time,
nonsense.
Mr. Perdue?
It should be noted that the only reason that there is a Republican primary is because former President Trump is upset with Brian Kemp and what he did after the 2020 election. If that hadn't been the case, former Senator Perdue would not even be in this race.
You know, Rick, immediately after the debate, former Senator Perdue's camp, they sent out a mass email stating David Perdue had another decisive win tonight and clearly has Brian Kemp on his heels. No press from Kemp's camp so far. Was there a clear, decisive winner?
Well, clear and decisive, I don't think so. As far as the email, though, from the Perdue camp, that's not surprising. Politicians typically like to try to spin after a debate like this to try to present themselves in the best possible light and say that they won. I think that the crime issue, though, Sean, is really what the Perdue campaign has identified as the main line of attack against Brian Kemp, talking about soaring crime rates. You mentioned Buckhead a couple of different times. So clearly he was trying to create some separation, some distance between them in the polls. And Senator Perdue has to do that, really, because he finds himself behind by over 25 points.
And Rick, both candidates, of course, all night long taking shots back and forth at each other. But now that this debate is over, what's next for both of these candidates?
Well, there's one more debate. It's on Sunday night, so we'll have round three of a three-round bout between them. And then early voting begins next week. The primary is on May the 24th, and it should be noted that Georgia is a state that offers open primaries, so Republicans, Democrats, anybody who is registered to vote in the state of Georgia is eligible to vote in this primary, and that creates sort of an unusual situation where Stacey Abrams, who will be the Democratic nominee for governor, will have a chance to go and vote for the person that she would like to run against in the general election in November.
One of the things that may be a deciding factor in this election is undecided voters. Whose message likely resonated the most tonight?
Well, I'll be interested to see that as much as you are, Sean. I think it's a little tough to gauge. I think that at this point, voters know Brian Kemp. They know David Perdue. He was a senator here for 6 years. So both of these candidates are known entities. People who are still on the fence, it's time to get off the fence and make up your mind. Again, the voting is set to begin any day now.
All right, Rick, and if you missed the debate, you can watch it in full right now at CBS46.com or download the new CBS 46 News app. And Rick, you did a fantastic job. We're really proud of you tonight.